Welcome everyone to the Island Life podcast, where we journey onto the island of discovery to relive some of the best and worst moments of Survivor. My name is Will, an experienced Survivor fan, 48 seasons deep, and I will be your guide. And joining us on this adventure is our rising Survivor fan with 13 seasons under her belt, and
Hello, we're back.
And of course, we also have our Survivor newbie, the brand new Survivor fan, who just finished his 5th season of the show. I give you Survivor F.
Hey there. Glad to wrap up another season with you guys.
And before you ask, yes, you have gained another season, but no, you have not advanced from Survivor Toddler yet.
Okay.
But
One of
you're
these
putting in the
days.
hours. You're
One of
putting
these
in the
days.
work. But yes, both of you have now experienced Survivor Race Wars, Survivor Cook Island, Season 13. I think I need to start with a question that we saw asked in the reunion. Was this a good idea? Did it all work out in the end?
I think the beginning part of it was not a good idea. I think we could make a season very diverse without needing to split the people by their ethnicities. I think in the end it worked out because they pulled the plug on episode 2 or 3 and reset everybody's teams up and tribals out. So I think it worked out because they let the concept go, and that they were good people in the tribe and good winners in the end.
I think in the sense of just being a hook to introduce a season, it is obviously trying something different. Not necessarily the hook that you want, just because we know how controversial this sort of thing can be in the modern age. But I'm glad, as I might have mentioned earlier, we got away from it pretty quickly. It gives you a chance to see the contestants as more than, whatever their ethnicity is. So as long as that wasn't something that they stuck with, which became a core theme over the entire season, I thought that would have been a recipe for disaster. But in watching through and seeing how the season progressed, seeing how people work together, seeing how, we saw people come out on top and try to either manipulate each other or work around their own tribal lines. I'm a fan of the season. I really liked how it turned out.
I definitely in this rewatch, I think I enjoyed it a lot. But you're right. After we abandoned the 4 tribes, then it seemed like, okay, here's a normal season. So I gotta ask Ben, so you've seen 2, let's call them themed season. Whether it's not necessarily tribal themes, but we had David versus Goliath. So in theory, you're being labeled something, regardless of what you actually are. And then this is also a theme, and it is splitting you by what you actually are, asterisk, because there's some people have some floating definitions of what ethnicity they are, or maybe they have a found family situation. But on the surface, you're not being labeled. It is, in fact, what you are. And then separately, there's the modern day seasons where there's nothing, no theme or of any kind. And then Pearl Islands had no tribal theme, but it did have an overall season aesthetic. So, do any of those styles stand out as like really hooking you more than the others?
I do like
Oh,
the themes that they have. I think they work quite well. Like if you have something that you can consistently show over the course of a season. I like if you no one mentioned it, I would have also thought that this had a soft pirate theme similar to another one of the seasons that we ended up watching an earlier season. So it it's fun to see, how far does that theme go? Is it something that comes into play week in and week out? And is it something where, how do they evolve beyond that theme? Because even if they start with that, it'll get stale pretty quickly, right? Like the point of Survivor is to go survive, adapt. And, that's just meant to be able to bring the audience in and say, okay, how is this season different from the last? And I'm sure for them, however many seasons of we have running up until now, we have up what season 50 announced. At some point, they start running out of ideas. But personally, if there was a way to continue doing it, I would have loved to have a theme each and every season.
To be clear, uh, so there was 2 types of or really 3 types of themes. There is an aesthetic theme that's kind of like that drives what the challenges are like, or maybe what some of the twists are like. There is what this season one, which is so your every tribe there is something specific, and that something is something you actually are. So that might be similar to a season that I think Ange may have seen, which is it was like I forget which one you either saw the one blue collar, no collar, white collar, or you saw beauty, brain, and
I
brawn.
did see Beauty, Brain, and Brawn.
Okay. So I know those are not as a little bit more loose definitions there. Um, let's say I told you guys the other week there is a season called Millennials versus Gen X. That's more like you
I
are
would watch
young
that one.
or you are old. So that is objective. And then the other version of it is Dave versus Goliath. So Jeff Probst will decide what you are and go from there. So
Uh,
you say
I think
theme. So is one of those the ones you mean?
Yeah, I think my opinion on this is gonna change the more I watch Survivor, but just because I've only watched, like, what, 5 seasons now, I just generalize what the theme is, like, to me, I'm not even, like, breaking it down in terms of, "Oh, this is talking about who they are as people," as opposed to what aesthetically is the motif for the season, but, I think I mean, I did enjoy the season. This was a good season, but not for that reason. So I would say I do like the aesthetic theme. If I'm forced to choose one, I would say that. But like for me, currently, I just generalize any sort of, how is one season different from the other? Oh, this is ninja themed or whatever. But the next season, it's
Mhm.
like, as you said, millennials versus boomers. So things like that.
Whoa, they called them Gen X at the time.
Well, that's a
What?
new season idea I got right there.
Yes. Oh, that would be a fun one. I actually would like to watch that. But I think I do enjoy as much as I think during when I'm watching it, I'm kinda making fun of it, but I do enjoy a theme. I think the whole, like, Pearl Island pirate theme was pretty cool, because the challenges also is part of that theme. So I personally, if they could do that again, I would love that. Like, not pirate, but, a princess themed, I don't know. It would be, like, Disney princess themed, Disney themed, it would be really cool. I don't
So
know,
not
CBS might not have
necessarily
that.
tribal theme. Like not
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tribes are not built on
Yeah,
some
no.
criteria.
No. Oh my gosh, it'd be crazy? It would be like Disney adults versus not Disney haters. That would be
Oh,
funny. I'm sorry. I would be the Disney adult part, but but that would be funny because I feel like people are so polarizing when they're one or the other. So, that would be a good one.
granted, that would be a tribe theme then, what you're suggesting.
Yes. Well, yeah,
I
that one would be a tribe theme, that would be interesting, but
I really
I
like that idea.
You
That's
do?
that's a great idea. I think you struck gold with that one.
Thank you, thank you. CBS, hit me up if you want
Now
some, like, more ideas, I got you.
now what if I told you that that season exists?
No, it does not. You're kidding. Will, are you serious?
I mean, it
I would
might
say
exist in
spoilers.
some others EU Survivor, but it does not a US Survivor, no.
What? That's
But imagine.
crazy. Imagine. That would be awesome.
Uh, but yeah, so I think how I like to treat this finale breakdown is so we're gonna start with the what happened, but I think what I really want to I want to jump to all the big moments of the season and like the different because the splitting by ethnicity gains the most attention. There is a lot of unique things the season did, and consider it is the 13th season. So in that context, so much was new. As a teaser to what we talk about later, it is the first ever season to have 3 people at Final Tribal, which is what the norm is now. hence them being very surprised by that. And that's just one. There's so much stuff. Um, but I think
Do
it's
you think
fair to. Oh, sorry. Go
like,
ahead.
I was just wondering, do you think it was planned all along to have the final 3, or was this a, like, last-minute decision because of what was going on?
Mm, I don't think it's was a let's change it up
Okay.
now.
Alright. Yeah, I'm just
Because I don't know
curious
if there's much to be gained. Like when you want to go with a not a conspiracy, just trying to think how the producers are strategizing for them to change the plan. There should be like some cool storyline benefit. So, like, if for some reason it was a Final 4, a Final Tribal, that would make more sense. Be like, "Hmm, that's an odd choice. Why would they do that?" But especially knowing that that's what they would end up preferring in the long run, this probably was always gonna be the first Final 3.
I mean, let's be honest though, was it really a final 3?
Well, let's start there. Okay, so to set the stage, in the finale, we're left with 5 people. 4 of them are the Aitu 4. Yule, Ozzy, Becky, and Sundra, and then Adam is the 5th, left over. Um, we would lose Adam in the first tribal. He really had to win immunity, it was his only shot, um, but no dice. He gets voted out. And we'll zoom in on these details, later. At final 4, they get surprised that it's actually just gonna be a final 3, and thus this is the last immunity challenge. And because Ozzy wins again for an amazing 5th time, he's safe, and because Yule has told everyone he has the idol, he's safe. That leaves just Sundra and Becky in danger, and and believe me, we will talk about their fire making, but uh, it is Sundra that loses out, which sets up a final 3 of Ozzy, Yule, and Becky. And sadly, it really does not go well for Becky. I don't know, like, were any of her answers to her questions, like, did it seem to gain her any points the whole time?
I think the only respectable one is the fact that she did not take the idol from Yule, but other than that, unfortunately, no. I also feel like I'm not used to like, this tribal was so the questions besides some of them made sense, but others were straight up, like, hater-ish. I was like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" Um, so I don't know, these questions kind of it feels different. Is it like, what do you guys think compared to, like, us watching the recent seasons? I feel like the questions are so different now.
Yeah, they felt a lot more personal, right? Like,
Yeah.
it felt like each person was just trying to reinforce their own beliefs and just getting a tribe the one of the finalists to speak about that rather than, "Hey, like, there was a question that came up about, what makes you worth, winning that $1,000,000? Like, what did you do that makes it me want to vote for you? Why should I vote for you?" That question obviously did come up, but then we had questions like, like, what you're someone who doesn't really talk trash, or you're someone who's pretty mum on most things. I need you to be honest and just answer yes or no, or I need you to trash talk the other finalists here and give me your actual thoughts on them. Like that, I don't know what exactly that's telling you about them in terms of how they're survivors, but it was a change of pace in terms of the questioning for sure.
I was curious if you were gonna like that because I kind part of one of the many reasons that I picked this season is because I knew Final Tribal was a little heated in its own way, where clearly these people have got frustrated. I mean, if you notice, it is everyone who was not after the mutiny, everyone who was on the bigger tribe plus Sundra is the jury. So a lot of bitter feelings of a lot of people that probably have a strong feeling one way or the other, and they kind of made you're right. They made it known in their questions sometimes a nice way, sometimes a not so nice way. Compared to now, everything is usually very well crafted and like not making enemies.
Yeah, I also feel like not just from the final tribal, like just tribal in general, like you could see the jury like roll their eyes or they're like mumbling to one another or they make this like huff or sarcastic like demeanor and it's very clear that they don't like them. Like especially in the very final where Adam is the last one standing, like they are clearly like upset that Adam's going home and that, making fun of that this is a bad route, but it's like also Adam, what games did you play? Like, I find that Adam played nothing. I find that Adam was worse than a lot of other people. I find that he was a worse player than, like, Jonathan per se. Um, so it's, like, he's there just because he's less scary compared to the other people, and he holds no fear, but I feel like if Adam was in the final 3, final 2, he would have gotten, like, probably all the votes from his original tribe just by bias, just by a very, very salty panel of juries, and, that makes it not fun. I feel like that could have ruined the season. Like, if it was played out the same way, but then Adam ends up, like, winning, and then Adam, like, is the in the final tribal and then wins from everybody, it would have made a very bad season, and I don't know I haven't watched a season where there are, like, juries that are just like, "Don't care about how you play, I just don't like you straight up, like, I'm just gonna vote for the people in my OG tribe," and end up, like, having a bad winner, but I fear that would ruin me. That would make me not happy.
Yeah,
I
and
worry
kind of just
half the
going
seasons.
further. Sorry, go ahead.
I say I worry when you see like half the seasons remaining, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
I just wanted to, like, add to, like, I think you brought up a really good point in terms of, if it went in a different direction, like, how would we see this season? I know I've mentioned that I do like the season, but I've never really given too much thought in terms of why. Like, the episodes have been enjoyable to watch, but in terms of, like, how we get into this final tribal, making the final 3, um, one of the things that resonated really well, as I'm sure would resonate well with most people, was we saw some clear underdogs. We saw a team that lost 2 team members through mutiny. They would become the clear underdogs, but they hung tough, stuck with each other, and were able to persevere all the way to the very end. And I think there's something very motivational about that, and that makes them a group that you inherently want to root for. And to see them continue to succeed, I think build some really good vibes as you approach the end of the season. I could say for sure, obviously, as you mentioned, if Adam won or, if Jonathan was still in the game, like I probably would not have thought the same way about this season.
For sure. Definitely, like, for me, I feel like the winner or what happens in the final tribal makes or breaks the season. For me, lots to hold on to it because you could enjoy a season and then the end, it could really go bad, based off what the jury does. And I just like, I feel like I still can't get over that the jury is there. They're silent for most of this entire season. And in the very end, they're the ones determining the biggest fate. And it's just like, what a moment, you know? But, I'm glad to see that you're right, that it is a very, like, wholesome, sweet moments of the 4 people that were underdogs that, like, were like, "We're basically screwed," when, Jonathan and Candace left, and then they stuck through, they won, they it was so amazing, I was so hyped, and I think I haven't been this hyped probably since, like, Rachel's win from 47,
Mhm.
and it is a really good feeling when you are rooting for that person and those people that you're rooting for are winning. It's exciting.
Absolutely.
And the that new Rare tribe gave some good villains, some good people to root against too. Because I do feel like there
Yes,
was a chance the more they won, the more, especially nowadays, like someone would be compelled to turn on the Aitu 4, like, especially once they gained the numbers advantage, and now it's Candace, Adam, and Parvati, and now they're behind, or, it would've been Jonathan at that point. They're behind. You're like, "Well, now they're the underdogs, you root for them," but for better or for worse, they ended up being presented as someone
mm,
who's fun to root against.
yeah, they were not likable. It's just the combination of things they said. Like, I always remember when, like, Jenny was just confident they're gonna win and they're gonna pop them like pimples, take them out. And I'm just like, I at that time, I was like, "Oh, man, I really hope you lose because I can't wait to see that, like, your smile get wiped off your face." And I was like, that was such a good feeling to see it as they slowly dwindle down. And the funniest thing is, like, Jenny got off from the message in the bottle, which is
The
even
mess.
better because she had nothing. There was nothing for her to do. It's just over. Goodbye, Jenny. So, not just Jenny, but, like, just in general, the entire vibe there was just, like, they just thought they were better, and then even till the end when they were dwindling in numbers, they're just like they were still not nice. They never played nice. This is their true colors, so how could they be nice? But, I don't know. They were all villainous to me.
Um, what'd you think of the very, very end? So we get so everyone answers their questions. It becomes very clear that Ozzy and Yule are really the people who have a chance here based on the questions being asked and not asked. Some people would just not ask Becky anything. And we get a 5-4 vote. I mean, by definition, basically the closest vote you can have with one asterisk, but uh and Jeff, when he's reading the votes, of course, plays it up as much as possible. And when he's holding the ninth vote, he takes forever to actually get to revealing it.
Yeah,
It
he
was,
really hyped it up.
it
He was yeah.
was it was very, nerve-wracking in a sense. I found myself doubting Ozzy more and more despite him being one of my picks, and he was playing a strong game, but it was like there were just things that you saw about Yule, like, which made you think, "Okay," like, if you're just saying Survivor, like how someone is playing the entire game, Yule is nailing certain things. So for me, it absolutely has been a nail biter. I didn't know who was gonna win. I thought it could go either way, and, I also felt bad for how they were deciding, "Okay, let's make it a final 3," but in essence, it really was just a final 2. Like, it felt like Becky was just kinda there, and, she wasn't being asked a lot of questions compared to the other 2, so it wasn't even like an opportunity was given to her to be able to maybe flesh out certain things that the other 2 got.
So I have some stats for you from the Survivor Wiki that I'll bring in every now and then here. So to that point, chronologically, this is the first time that anyone at Final Tribal got 0 votes,
Wow.
which
But
kind of
this is the
makes sense.
first time there's 3, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's something new for the show and new for Jeff Probst to kinda deal with. Um, and it actually would be I mean, this is very normal now. This is they typically do three-person final tribal, and very often one of those final 3 is a goat, someone brought on purpose because 'cause they're not gonna get any votes, and they don't get any votes. But this will be the first time it ever happened.
Yeah, and
How does
I
it
mean,
feel
if
to be
this
the first GOAT, Becky?
right? If this was back in the day too, I would like, and I'm someone who's watched Survivor from season 1 onward, I would probably think that this season, just having a final 3 would probably be a failure just because of, this as an example of, okay, they're trying it, but it seems like really it's just a final 2. The 3rd person's not really there for anything, and then they're gonna have to bring them back and, ask them questions, and you kinda just feel bad for that 3rd person, especially if they're not coming out guns blazing or don't have anything that, like, could put them over the other 2, but to play devil's advocate to myself here, I think this was just a very specific situation which just hurt Becky because she just happened to be with her own tribe members. Like, I would assume that this is more an outlier than anything, where you're not gonna have all the people in the same tribe make it to the end from, like, and that's something you could predict from, like, 4 or 5 episodes
Well, now
earlier.
wait a minute, but I got a devil's advocate, you're devil's advocate.
Okay, and then
This
Alton, okay.
was this wasn't happenstance. I mean, Becky played an active role in allowing her group of 4 to be the final 4. If she had concerns about being at the end of her own tribe, she could have attempted to prevent that from happening a bunch of times earlier in the season.
I'm glad you mentioned that. It would have been funnier if I said that myself. I was actually planning on doing just that. Then I was
Oh,
gonna be like,
really?
"Okay, then I'm gonna play devil's advocate to my own devil's
I'm sorry.
advocate."
Alright, so fair, sorry,
No
fair.
worries, no worries. Yes, I was saying that actually as we were watching it that, like, they had an opportunity. The girls had an opportunity where Adam did actually have a good point in terms of setting themselves apart. Sure, they're taking a hit, but they're actually doing something for themselves. She was actively working, against her own best interests. So, um, you don't know what the strategy was there, but that's I think one of those things where I would have loved to I would have loved to hear her thoughts. Maybe, if that was a question that was asked towards her, or maybe if she could have been given another opportunity to just speak on it. I know that's not really how it went, and you get asked what you get asked, but from watching the final episode, the one takeaway I have is, like, that's the question I have that, what was her game plan? Like, how was she expecting to win this, really? And I don't have an answer for that.
Like, imagine it was what they thought, a final 2. So that means that in all likelihood, Ozzy's gonna win the final 4 immunity, which he does. So you can't vote for him. And then you know that Yule has an idol that comes through. This is the last time you can use it. So you're probably not gonna vote for Yule. So you even in a final 2, you are setting yourself up for exactly what happened, where you are now in danger with the one other person, Sandra. So at best, what you'd be hoping is, well, I've built an alliance with Yule, and he will persuade Ozzy to all of us to vote for Sandra. And then if you succeed at that, well, now you go to another immunity challenge, hope that you win, because if you don't, then whoever wins is gonna decide who goes to the end. If Ozzy wins that challenge, chances are he'll like well, it's hard to say because you'd think if Ozzy or Yule won this hypothetical final 3 challenge, they would bring Becky for the best chance for themselves to win. But Ozzy does seem like the type of person who wants to reward, like, if you're a strong player to advance. So maybe Ozzy would have actually taken Yule potentially in that scenario. Point being, by the time we get to Final Four, it seems like she has eliminated all of her like good options to be at the end and win.
Yeah. The thing about Becky is that she, besides being close to Yule, you don't see her being close to anybody. Like, although they had the 4 people, I never really see Becky like, Becky and Sandra had, like, a thing of being, like, they didn't when they were like, "Oh, it's time to take out Ozzy," but they never build any relationship when Becky was like, I never saw Becky build any relationship with anyone else besides Yule, and we could kinda say the same for, like, Sandra too. I feel like Sandra lacked that aspect of it versus Yule was so good at that. He was very good, like, strategic-wise, social game. He was really, really good, and I think Becky lacks that. Like, even if I think it's even though if he even if Becky was like, "Oh, I did most of the thing, you guys every compliment you give to Yule, it's actually, like, works for me too," but it lacks in that way of people don't like you as much. So, I feel like they kind of respect her less and wouldn't wanna vote for her.
Yes, I'm trying to think out. If it was just a final 2, Yule and Becky, that probably would be her best strategy. Try to say, I every compliment you give to Yule's strategy, I had the same amount, except that he's the one with blood in his hands and not me. So maybe try to separate herself that way. Be like, look, he but that's kind of having it both ways because that would be saying he came up with the plan, hate him, but then you'd be admitting that you didn't come up with the plan. Or you'd say we both came up with the plan, and at that point, like, well, then I feel like I would hate you the same, and then you'd be stuck. So, um, yeah,
Look
that's
at it.
tough.
Yeah, go ahead.
I do have a question submitted from our Survivor expert, Rachel, that
Oh
she
my
specifically
goodness.
wanted us to discuss. Her question is, does Yule survive Final Four without the idol? And remember, this they kind of stopped really talking about it, but this is the so-called super idol named by the fans, the idol that you have to use after the votes are read, and only if your name is the name that has the most votes. So what do you think? If Yule does not have an idol, is he still able to make it through Final Four?
Yeah, I'm
I
just kinda
I
thinking about that.
uh,
It's a thought-provoking question.
it is I think some part of me feel like he would have. Some part of me feel like this entire this the 4 people would have been like I don't know, this is really hard. This is a really
Well, because think
thought-provoking
about because while you guys keep thinking about it, that is you mentioned Adam, and since he felt he was doomed regardless, he was kind of saying like, "Hey, I mean, you might as well throw some votes on Yule, and then that forces him to use the idol. I still go
Yeah,
home, but now in the final four, he won't have an idol. So, do you want to do
yeah.
that?" So
He They
it could have
didn't.
happened.
It didn't cross their mind to even do it. I feel like they wouldn't have. I feel like in the end, they wouldn't have just base of their history of them 4 sticking by together, staying strong. I don't think Becky had it in her to betray Yule, and I feel like Sundra is a very I don't think Sundra would do it. I just don't think Sundra would do it either. Although
When you say
Becky is
do
a
it,
very
you mean vote again, like at final four, vote for Yule?
yeah, yeah. So, I feel like so are you saying, like, without his idol, would he been voted out, right?
Well, like, well, just yeah, just imagine if forgetting about Adam, if the only difference in the game was Yule did not have this like, it expired at 5 instead of
Mhm.
4, then Ozzy wins immunity, so he's safe, and now the votes can only be against Sundra, against Yule, or against Becky. So in that scenario, who gets the votes? And is it gonna be against Yule?
I yeah, I have a more firm thought on it now. I think I was originally gonna say it depends on did he like, are we just hypothetically saying he just never got an idol and the rest of the game went the same way? I think another approach could have been if, yes, we knew that he still had the idol, but then he essentially revealed to his tribe that I'll just like, it's a show of I'm not gonna use it,
I'm
or
throwing in the
like,
ocean.
yeah, or I'll give it to Ozzy knowing he's already won immunity. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm essentially
I think the
at
easiest way to
risk
think
to
about it is just pretend it expired at Final 5 instead of Final 4, so it's
yeah,
everyone knows it's not
I
available anymore.
I definitely think he would get eliminated in that case. I don't think he would be a finalist just because, like, as you're nearing the end of the game, he is you're talking about Ozzy as a threat, but Ozzy is becoming a threat because he's winning challenges. Whereas Yule, like, he's just playing a really good game. He's talking to people. He has a strong social game. You can see it from how others perceive it too, right? Like if Becky has to convince others that, oh no, I played a part in it too, to the other survivors, she's obviously not having a good enough social game where like they just inherently know that, right? They all consider Yule is the leader of that tribe. They all consider that he's the one making the decisions. And if Becky and Sandra are aware of that, they're gonna see him for the threat he is and decide to get him out. It would not be in their best interest to keep him after, that final 4, like, he's robbing them an opportunity to win the game. He is the biggest threat, regardless of Ozzy winning the challenges just because he's playing the complete game, unlike anyone else.
I see
It's
your point.
fascinating, yeah.
My question for you guys on this flip end is that if you guys were Becky, would you have taken Yule's idol, but then flip it to vote for Yule that night? Because by her doing that, that is a really good play, and that not only gets her a spot there, but also that's a great jury move. It's a jury winning move.
I was hoping that she would actually do that. Yeah, because I think that could potentially be the winning play for her, where she's taking charge, she's making an action towards the end of the game to completely shift the dynamics. no one is thinking that Yule is gonna be, threatened going into the end of the game, especially if you still know he has the hidden idol and you're 1 vote away from making it to the final 3, so if she's able to do that, if she's actually able to take his not only his idol away, but eliminate him all in one swift motion, then yes, like, that would put her in higher standing. I think that's honestly something she'd be able to convince Sandra to do, even if, Ozzy's not voting in accordance to them.
Uh,
Um,
mhm.
I think that would be a winning play for her, yes.
And doing the math in that scenario, this is just awkward with how the idol works, and the way that Jeff is saying it, and we don't see it plays out, but also the way he asks, "Do you have the idol?" It does seem like Yule, like she's in theory offering this idol. He had to before tribal council have like transfer ownership to this super idol to Becky. And then if Becky has the most votes, she uses it. Whereas nowadays you have the idol, you can still own it and use it, but you just declare I'm using it for and then whoever. So in this scenario, they so Becky would only need one other person. And you would think that one other person is Sandra because Yule and Ozzy are voting for Becky and Sandra. So that's 1-1. So if Sandra and Becky, but 2 votes on Yule, then that would be it. Then Yule will be gone. Now, you are definitely Yule will almost certainly not vote for you in this scenario. They don't know it's a final 3 yet, so um or sorry, actually no, they do know it's a final 3. So they would know they'd be sitting at the end with I guess the only tricky thing there is what does that do for Sundra? But maybe Sundra's like, well, it's all over for me anyway, regardless.
I'll tell you what
Um,
it does for her. Yeah, it gives her an additional play to say at the end that, "Hey, I contributed to this move." Look at it this way, is she gonna wanna be faced on is she like, if she hypothetically could make it to final 3 instead of Becky, is she gonna wanna be going up against Ozzy and Yule, or is she gonna wanna be going up against Ozzy and Becky, right? Like, look at it that way.
yeah, sure. So
Um,
your choices are 4th place or uh final tribal, like you said, with Ozzy and Yule, or final tribal with Ozzy and Becky. So yeah, in that case, that's true. So that is the best case scenario for Sundra. And then obviously I wonder like Yule himself got criticism for his lack of integrity in the game at some points. So would that hurt Becky and Sundra? Like, would they look like scum of the earth for doing this? Um, or would they get praised? I wonder. And I guess but I suppose like by the math, even if it hurts them, they're placing higher than they would have otherwise.
I
Um,
think it becomes an easy way to view like, whoever's able to like, it obviously gives Becky the advantage if she's the one initiating, but in Sandra's case, she can if she has a strong social game, which she can show at the end, she can point out that, "Hey, this wouldn't have happened if I wasn't also involved and part of the plan." And I could tell you, just from how the jury went, that would definitely net votes from both Adam and Jonathan. So, like, it's not like I wouldn't have done nothing. It would have definitely made a difference, potentially even a bigger difference than we realized, considering the rest of the tribe would, like they all got eliminated because of this 4-man group. So, like, for them to see them turn on each other and try to backstab each other right at the end of the game, that might be something that they would probably be more interested in seeing as opposed to seeing the tribe just in harmony all the way till the very end.
so to answer your question, that might have been the move that would have given them the best chance, and I think they would still get squashed by Ozzy in the end.
Yeah,
But it would have
no,
given
still
them
working from behind
a
him.
better chance than what they had to work with, for sure. Um, and also the scenario where there's just no idol at all. I think what's interesting there too is now. Ozzy does not have the easy out of setting up a tie. So at that point, who does he target? Because that might drive what everyone else does. In theory, Yule would probably vote for Sundra if he's unwilling to betray Becky. And then
Mm.
Sundra is unknown. She could. I think it's just so fascinating because they've been talking about being loyal to each other to the end, but now you're right. Like if Yule's the biggest threat, you think he should be the target. But if Ozzy's not on board, if Ozzy's like, well, he deserves to be here, so I don't want to vote him out. In fact, Becky did the worst of the meter challenge. I want to vote her out. And then Becky maybe doesn't want to vote out Yule, and so like it's just a mess. It would be a mess. I find myself wishing for that alternate timeline where we could just see them all fight it out, Final Four. So
I would like to think that, if they didn't even have that immunity idol, that Yule might not even make it to the Final Four. Like, you could potentially see Adam instead of him.
Okay, so let's we have to bring it up. So I think it's fair to say you guys both liked Yule, especially like
Oh, 1,000%.
in terms of a deserving winner.
Yes.
Yeah, very deserving. He played a really
So
good game.
elephant in the room then. How much did having the super idol contribute to him ultimately dominating in the game?
I don't wanna take away from his game. I think he, like, regardless of the idol, he played a strong game, but he definitely used it to protect himself more than I've seen other survivors in the past, and he knew he had the backing of his tribe, and, that gave him a level of protection that I don't think I've seen so far in Survivor. So, the and that's on him, like, the ability to be able to talk someone into doing that, like, it takes a lot, right? Like, if Becky earlier in the season is able to see, "Oh, Ozzy's a threat, maybe we should think about getting him out," but she just can't do it because he keeps winning the challenge. What's stopping her from saying the same thing about Yule if he just does not have the idol, right? So, I think it did help push him along further. I hate to say it, like, I think he is a deserving winner, but I don't think he would have won had he not had that idol. Like I said, I think he probably would not have made it to the Final Four.
What do you think, Ange?
Ah, that's hard. I think he would play it, uh this is, like this alternate timeline thing's really messing with me because I don't know why I feel like maybe I'm just biased with Yule. I think he could do it. I think that I think in the end, without it, he would have still been okay. I think he would have made it out. Some way he's gonna say his diplomatic way of speaking and his 33% chance of whatever, whatever, and it's gonna pull you through and it's gonna work. Like, I feel like Ozzy would have been like would have been a mistake, but Ozzy would have been like, "I want Yule with me up there," and have Yule be there.
Yeah, I guess the what what feels so weird about Yule's game is with the way this super idol works, like he really can never be a serious target ever. Because if my plan is to vote for Yule and I know he has the idol, I am allowing somebody else to get voted out. And if somebody else could be me, why would I take that risk? And as a result, he really never has to worry about being the target for much of the game, which is a huge advantage.
Yeah, this
Now,
idol is so strong. It's, like, truly super idol.
yeah, this is most people are not a fan of this version of the idol. I think the to Yule's credit, one of his most impressive things is being able to sway Jonathan to vote with the Aitu 4 when there's only 9 people left, the advantage. Because the thing about that situation is, yes, he uses the existence of an idol to threaten Jonathan, but the idol makes him Yule untouchable, but it doesn't make his alliance untouchable. They could just all vote for Sundra or something, and then they whittle down that I24 until it's just Yule left. And at that point, it just depends, like, what they want to do with it in that situation. At that point, he's pretty defanged, but he's able to manipulate Jonathan well enough to get him to actually work with them. And I mean that's definitely to Yule's credit. Um, I
Okay.
yeah, I think Yule I think he just would have made different decisions, and those different decisions would leave him in a good position. But if like the timeline stayed the same, I don't know that he would be able to get out of the jam they were in when at final at the merge at 9 without the idols. So like, but still, I great winner I thought in Yule. And by the way, you have I don't have it right now, but let's just make a new ranking. So you've seen Rachel win. You've seen um, Kyle in season 48 win. You've seen Sandra win in season 7. You've seen Nick win David versus Goliath, and now you have seen Yule win. Does Yule stand out among those other 4, or does he end up ranking like in the middle or at the bottom?
Uh, I kinda think he's not the very top because I think when I'm looking at a winner, I'm thinking about well-roundedness, like, the top people are the ones that are well-rounded. Although physically he was very fit, very strong, and very smart, it kinda came down to Ozzy was better, so he wasn't, you know? So, as good in terms of the physical challenges and stuff, but we saw him, he's good at it, like, when he did the cannon, he just threw the little cannon thing to go into the sea basketball one, and I thought those were all very, like, smart ways, but he is a very good like, strategically, socially, he's very good, and I would say he's, probably in, 2nd after Rachel, because to me, I think I still find so far in my little bits of what we've watched, Rachel, out of all those, are the most rounded. She won challenges, she's great socially, she played her idol perfectly, like, I still find her play so, so good and exciting. So Yule would be 2nd to that, I would say, after that.
Yeah, I would agree with Rachel being number 1. I think where I would disagree is I wouldn't have Yule at number 2, I would maybe have him at number 3. I'd probably have Kyle at number 2 just because I think he faced a harder environment. Again, uh, Yule played a really good game, but he had an advantage that was able to stick with him up until the very end, and he had, his tribe backing him up, which is what a lot of these winners did not have, right? If you're in a position where you're able to build that alliance, which, he obviously played a part in, it's not like it was just handed to him. It just makes it seem like as long as he has that idol, he is gonna be making it to the very end. No one's really gonna be challenging him for it. And him Ozzy winning as many times as he did really helped him out too, in terms of putting pressure on someone else, getting a shield for someone else, avoiding getting one of their 4 out just because he just can't be voted out. So, I would say, yeah, very deserving winner. Rachel would be hard to overcome. I think Kyle, I could see someone take over Kyle's spot, but I wouldn't say Yule is taking over Kyle's spot.
Okay, so middle of the pack. That's
Yeah.
I think for both of you, middle basically. Um, let's put love for Ozzy. So doesn't win, but is short by 1 vote. And uh, if okay, how about this? If Ozzy had won 5-4, now does that change anything in your best winners?
That's tough. I
Whether
would
he
give
be
him
whether he's
I would
like would he have been a better winner than your favorite winners, or would he been a worse winner than
Mm,
your least favorite winners?
uh, I would actually put him lower then. I would have boot up Kyle and put Ozzy probably below Kyle, I would say. Because now I'm thinking about it. Nick, if you ask me what he did, I can't tell you because I can't remember. Sandra,
That is
all
a
I got
common
is
opinion about Nick,
is
I'll
it?
just say.
Yeah, like that season kind of my mind blinked and I'm like, "What did you do?" I don't even know. He was a very nice guy, like, love him, but he wasn't strategic or socially, I was not
He did
aware.
find idols
He did find
and
idols, and he
advantages.
also made great names, which I love for you, but, it's not giving much from out of these winners, so I would say Ozzy would be in the middle, but that's because I can't remember what Nick and much of what Sandra did as much anymore, because I feel like Sandra was there because she got there, and I think the whole thing was, like, she was with Rupert, and then in the end, Rupert left, and then she had to stick by and keep going and push through, but also wasn't seen as a threat kinda thing. That's her main winning strat talk. Um, yeah, I would say Ozzy is above those 2, but not above Yule, if Yule was there, So, I would be Rachel, Kyle, Ozzy. How about you, F?
The
What do you think?
yeah, so the ranking's still the same, but, I would this is where I differ. I would give Ozzy the edge over Yule, just because I'm looking at it from the sense of, what did you have to accomplish to get there? And this is while it's helped him, I'm like, the idol is really hurting Yule in this case, where, like, if he's having protection the same way, he's having protection because he's winning challenges. He's not having protection because he found an idol and it's been keeping him afloat the entire time. So relative to Yule, I would put him ahead. I think Yule has a stronger social game, but I don't think Ozzy has a weak social game. I think, one of the votes against him, like, was just, it felt like the vote was against him just because he was young and, Jonathan saw him as arrogant. They revealed that one right away that, like, yes, he voted for Yule. He asked Ozzy a question about, like, why should I vote for someone young like you who, seems like he's pretty entitled or whatnot. And he had to have Ozzy explain to him why he deserved the $1,000,000. So good question, but the way he's framing it, it's like, he's not giving you a lot to work with. He's not making it sound like, he's giving you a fair shot here. And if that vote swung around, we could have seen a different winner here. But, I think, yeah, the way I look at it is, how many obstacles did they have to face and overcome to make it to the end? And I think hypothetically, Ozzy had to deal with more. He was more of a target compared to Yule. There's pressure put on him that Yule did not have. Yule was seen as the leader of the tribe, even though they were talking about, hey, we all make decisions together. So he had a level of protection that Ozzy just did not have, and he had to work to get himself by winning challenges.
Very fascinating. It's weird because I think usually we don't we're not too impressed by an Aussie style game because it relies on winning basically every individual immunity challenge, and, like, that doesn't feel like a good strategy, but he actually did it, so it's like, "Alright, well, I guess he backed up the talk then because he would actually win almost every single immunity cha individual immunity and various rewards too."
Yeah.
So
5, right?
if you could bet 5 immunities and then,
That's crazy.
rewards on top of that, uh, so if you could back it up, I guess, I get if you saw Ozzy play again, I guess, first of all, we didn't do it for the people in this episode. In our final 5, would you wanna see any of the final 5 play again?
Uh, Adam, Nar. Is he your 5? Yeah. Adam,
Yes.
Nar. Sandra, sorry, Nar. Um, Becky, Nar. Ozzy, Yule, heck yeah, for sure. 1,000%. Yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah, I'm the same. I would say Ozzy and
Because
Yule.
yeah, so for Ozzy specifically, if he played again, is relying on the same strategy gonna
That's
be
not
effective or
good,
not?
though. That doesn't make him well-rounded if that's the only thing he relies on. Like, going back to, like, Rachel, who she won 4 individual immunities, and I feel like those even I feel like maybe the jury was different, but at that time, it wasn't like, "Oh my gosh, you won 4 immunity challenges, like, that you got it in a bag." It's not like that. She won with all these strategies, these things she made, these moves, like Idol, taking out Andy. Those were the things that got her in. So just because you win immunity challenges doesn't mean you're a good Survivor player. Being a survivor isn't surviving like, the challenges, it's to survive, period. So, I just think that I think that I'm just kinda, like, throwing it out there kinda in terms of I just find it's very impressive that Ozzy's winning those things. I could never. It is very, very impressive. He's really good at the physical sense, but I think he definitely lacks, lots in regards to his social game, and I think if he ever comes back, that's what he should really, like, pull in because he would be so unstoppable. Like, I never got to know him until the very end about his father and all that stuff, you know? Like, we never got to know him, like, Brad was like, I talked to for 15 seconds of my life. And to kinda decide if you should deserve $1,000,000, like, my vote puts in that, It's kind of like, wow, that's a big thing, a big decision. So, I feel like I didn't get to know him well, besides that he is Poseidon, and he is, really good physically. But other than that, that's it.
It's funny
I'm
you mentioned
usually
that too.
I was just gonna say, I'm usually against, like, having to see a lot of people return, like, who've already been in prior seasons just because you wanna see something fresh, and the thing you would hate to see is someone who's returning playing the exact same way that they did previously, regardless of if they won or not. So
Yeah.
you wanna see someone do something fresh, you wanna see how, how did your game change? If you're just the same person, why wouldn't I just vote you out immediately if
Yeah.
if you were a threat previously, like, how exactly are you different now?
Yeah, I do wonder because I don't think maybe I have, but I don't recall watching one where a lot of returnees. So I just wonder how that works usually, because it's like nowadays, I feel like if you are a full-on Survivor fan going on Survivor, you probably know every single one of them backwards and forwards, what their strat is, what are they like, their backgrounds, like, do you like, they can't share the same story again, do they? Like, do we get the same edits of, like,
Well,
"My
yeah,
mom
when
abandoned me when I was 5?" Like, do we go through this whole thing, or the people are like, "Yeah, I know. Let's get over it." No, I'm kidding.
yeah, when we get to returnee seasons, the 2 types are when the entire cast is returnees, and then the others some of the cast is returnees, at varying levels of, like, amounts. So those we'll get to those eventually. Um,
Well, I did wanna ask you before we moved on, what were your own rankings for these,
Oh,
like, the
yes.
5 winners? And also, if you were throwing Ozzy into the mix, like you were asking, what are your thoughts?
okay. Also love Rachel. Um, I'm gonna put I'm gonna put Ozzy and Yule at the bottom of this group of ones we've seen. And my
The
reasoning
bottom?
is parts of what you've both discussed, where Ozzy didn't feel like he needed to use strategy. And so what helped him is Yule actually, while Yule was running the shots, he never deemed it necessary to target Ozzy. And Ozzy, meanwhile, uh, had no desire to do anything about Yule during the season. So it's kind of like coasting. And Yule also, after he first of all, finding the idol is its own skill. So that's well done, Yule. And he did need to make sure things didn't get out of hand in the pre-merge and then the merge episode. But once he had succeeded in the merge episode, he just never needed to defend himself really ever again. So like I feel like I didn't see him utilize his main like strategic skills after the merge. At the beginning of the merge. That's my opinion. I feel like these other people I feel have been challenged and had to and for some of them they made mistakes and then they overcame their own mistakes. So that's why I have them at the bottom of this like group of six, and then I'll probably put Sandra, and then I'm thinking Nick versus Kyle. It's gonna be Nick, then Kyle, then Rachel. Although I was actually way more impressed with Nick in the rewatch, but in the end, um, it's still below the others. So that's my personal thinking. People can come at me if they
Fascinating.
want to. Um, so rapid fire now. I'm just gonna go through a whole bunch of the unique things about this season, and you could say yay if you liked it, or nar if it wasn't your cup of tea.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So really small thing. You talked about Brad. It's like I didn't know you. I knew you for like 15 seconds. Well, that's because this jury of 9 people included people from before the merge.
All
Normally,
right.
the jury starts at the merge, and thus everyone's at least had a little bit of time to have interacted. So, jury starting before the merge.
No
Definitely
likey.
nar. Yeah. Because then you're just gonna go by your pre-merge bias, your OG tribe. It's hard not to.
Um,
Agree.
Exile Island, and an idol being hidden at Exile Island.
Nar.
Uh,
Boring.
I'm can there be like a middle ground? Like I haven't seen enough. So like
No, I refuse. You must
okay,
understand.
yes, just to be able to see it more. So I can say no.
Fair enough. um, how about Mutiny?
No, no way.
Low key, okay. I low key, I say yes because it got me so hyped.
I I just
It
think
got
it
me
like
hyped. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
it
It got me really
no, I mean
hyped
it
up.
was a good season, but it's like it just shifted the dynamics in a way that did not need to be shifted, and it causes balance
But
issues,
I
and it's
like
just
it.
but
I like
like
the chaos. Ha ha ha. I'm like the Elmo laughing in fire. Like the
the chaos is
chaos.
fun, but it's like this is one of those things that should just stay within one season rather than ever return.
Yeah, I wonder if it does return like next season it does something like because of Candace and Jonathan, did it change the meta that maybe you should do mutiny? But yeah. Yeah, I hate it as a player. I love it as a viewer.
I would love it as a viewer if there was a way to balance it out. Like if you lost people like in your tribe that hurts you, like we need a way to be able to compensate you for that.
Yeah, maybe, like, the team that lost a lot of people gets, like, some sort of help, on their next challenge, or I don't know. But I don't know, I think it because it worked so well in this season for me, because I literally was like but this episodes before, I was like, "If the 4 people make it to top 4, I will be so happy," and they did. They did. I was like, "If any one of those people won, I'll be so happy," and they did. I'm like just so hyped, so exciting. So that's why I'm all for it. I'm down.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, so what about our 4 tribes? Not that they split them by race, but we don't usually see 4 tribes to start a season.
No, not just
Mm,
just too much time that you have to split between different tribes.
I agree. I just don't like how like all I have to do is like, yo, F, you want to take down Will? And you say yes, and we're down. We got it down. I only need one or two people, one me and you, and that's a majority. I think it's more fun and chaotic when there's more people, more strategy to talk.
Also sounds very realistic. That will happen.
Yes, it will happen.
Unintended.
Yes.
Um, what did you think of the final 3 tribal twist? Specifically, they didn't know. So what I'm asking you about is this could have been the first season to have 3 people at the end, but they know that going in versus it being a surprise to them.
Ooh. I think it
That's
shouldn't have been a surprise
yeah, I was well, honestly, that's
because
chaos I can get behind.
that's different. That's very different. That's very different than me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that
That's
is chaos
funny.
I can get behind.
I
So
like
it's
that
like
F. That's no, I don't like it because that ruins the strategic planning on that end. Your very end there that is too chaotic. So no for me. Nar, sorry.
Nar. Um, let's see if there's anything else I'm curious about. Are you cool with the tiebreaker at Final Four being the final the fire making we're actually used to? So this is kind of the I don't know if it's not that necessarily the birth of it, but I mean we actually got what we get in Modern Survivor. We got Final Four fire making.
Oh man, that fire making was kind of rough. You think when Teeny was doing it, it was rough? No, 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 it was not. This is rough. This is so rough. People are going to bed. They were like, "Oh my gosh, get it over with." Jeff is
Okay,
like
so how about my
out of it.
actual question? My actual yes no question is there was a
All right.
point where they were given matches. You good with that or
Oh,
should they not?
nar. I like the fact that they just did their thing. Used is it magnesium, right? They use?
The Flint?
Is it
Yeah,
Flint? Oh,
yeah,
I thought it was magnesium.
they're scraping that
Yeah, they're
magnesium off the
scrubbing it.
flint.
Yeah, yeah. I like that so much more, it gets exciting, the sparks. And then I'm like, "Oh my gosh, please don't hurt yourself," but the sparks, and
Okay,
they get a little spark. Yes.
but like an hour had passed.
Well, this is where people really need to be skilled, and this is why when people if you are in modern times or whatever season starts that this is happening more, the meta, before you go in there, you should really learn how to build a fire. Unfortunately, I feel like those 2 did not. And that disappointed Papa Jeff because he looked so disappointed. I was like, "Oh, man, I can't look at him in the eye ever again if it was me."
yeah, I'm not for, I just think anything fire making in general is a no-go. Like, looking at the season, it might as well have just been rock, paper, scissors.
Oof.
That's bold. But okay, but so I know we've talked about what to do in a Final Four, like different ideas. We came up with some really cool stuff. But in this case, it was actually a regular vote. It's just that regular vote was a tie. So are you saying you want something other than fire raking to be the tiebreaker?
Fire making just drags things out, so I would look for something that's a little bit more clear, a little bit easier for everyone to get into. Clearly, if you spend 30 plus days on an island, you might still not know how to start a fire.
I mean, I think you're giving them a bit too much credit. Nobody else we've seen has done a nearly as awful a performance. Like an hour and a half passed, and like half an hour of that, they actually had matches. Sundra ran out of matches. So I think these were particularly awful fire
Yeah,
making
I'm just
efforts.
saying that it opens up the possibility for something like that. Like, if we do an endurance challenge, okay, well, one person is enduring longer. That could also drag out, but it's like find something that can strain the body pretty quickly and find a quick winner.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Um, but yeah, those are like most of the there's some other small things, but those are the main and we talked about the idol already. Those are the main things. So there's a lot. I mean, there's like especially in its time, a lot of new things were done in this season, kind of all at once. Is what I wonder if that's what season 50 is going to feel like or not. So, um
Do you think season
it's
50 would be, like, new stuff or going backpedaling to old stuff? Like, are
well,
they
I
gonna
think it's
pander towards, like, nostalgia or new things to get exciting?
well, in theory, it's what we did in the polls,
Oh, yes, yes.
so I imagine it'll be it just depends. Did everyone vote for lots of advantages? And then I think we'll just get, like, all the advantages we've seen the past 9 seasons, if you include season 49, which is starting right now. Or if people voted the other way, then there won't be really any advantages, but that in of itself will be, like, a huge shock, the same way, like, having all the advantages would be a shock. Um, so that's curious for that. But that's gonna bring us to the end of another season. Um, so similar to Winners, does this season stand out compared to the ones you've seen, or does it fit like neatly in the middle?
No, I think the seasons stand out for me. I think again, I was there in the beginning, I was kind of like, what is happening? What's going on? So there is that definitely that like, oh my gosh, what's going on factor. And but then they kind of switch it out, with the groups and the tribes. And then it got exciting during Mutiny. It got really exciting when you got to like the people you're cheering for is winning and like the quote unquote like villainous, like mean people are not winning. So it gets exciting. I think there's also more like at this time, like there's more like people not liking Jonathan. There's outwardly people calling him like cancer, rat. It's like, oh my gosh, they're getting at each other. And I feel like that happened quite a bit. Not as much as like, Johnny Fairplay and Sandra kind of thing in that season, but this season had some stuff going on. There's lots of different characters. We got makeout sessions. We got like more like political demeanor, calm demeanor Yule. We got Poseidon swimming Ozzy. There's just a lot of different characters. So I think in the end, to me, it did stood out because of the trajectory we went. I was not expecting like I think with Mutiny, it kind of like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I feel like the switch turned for me. I went from, oh, this is cool to, oh my gosh, this is so exciting.
Yeah, just kind of the opposite there, which is fascinating for me. Like, it's hard to beat season 47, I think, for me. First season, really good
Yeah.
season, really good entry into just Survivor in general. I still, it's going to be hard to beat that. This one is in the middle, similar to the winners for me. I think without the mutiny, you could make a case that it's the second best season that I've watched. But where it stands right now, I would say, yeah, it's in the middle.
Yeah,
So the
I would say
mutiny,
not the top,
like,
but yeah, you're right.
yeah, the
Sorry, what was
mutiny
that?
for you, the mutiny for you, like, is what's holding back the season, if I'm hearing correctly.
Yeah, yeah, I think it could have done better without.
Okay. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. So that leaves us with housekeeping. First, for the first time ever, I think. Congratulations to you, and you
Ah,
correctly selected a winner pick, and you did it with an
yay!
original pick.
Oh, gee, my man,
Most impressive.
You got me.
Yes, by the skin of his teeth, winning by one vote, got the job done. Uh, F and your like really quick version of having your winner picks. Your original ones didn't make it, but your one you ultimately ended up on, Ozzy. I mean, made it as close as you can without actually winning. So, still pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But if you're not first, you're last. So let's give it up to
Oof.
the real winner. You.
No, no.
Now, going forward, I've decided that we're gonna have a format change. So I still like that you guys can pick two people. It's all good. But now if you allow your person to get voted off, it's all over for you. Like you do not get a replacement.
As
Oh,
it
so
should
once
be.
your
And
2 people is gone, it's
it'll
over?
be yes. So you need to navigate the ebbs and flows of the season and realize you've made a mistake at some point and switch to avoid them getting voted out is
Ah,
gonna be
you're
how.
I know why you're
Or,
doing this, Will. It's because I don't
or,
change my vote.
or hear me
Because
out here.
yeah,
You double down
yes.
on your mistake.
I
I might do
mean,
that.
the only version of that could have worked out is in season 7 if you had picked Burton and then he comes back and then he wins the whole thing.
Oh
So
my gosh,
technically
that'd be
that is an
crazy.
option, I suppose. Uh, um, but yeah,
Redemption Island?
a little bit, well, maybe. There's a little bit more pressure on you to protect your picks because it will be the ultimate shame to not have anyone left by the time it's like the final 5 finale episode.
I like how
So
you do it. That's
a little bit.
actually really cool.
Yep, so keep that in mind in the next seasons we do. And actually, I'll have to follow that same rule because we have a new season that we're about to get into, a new live season.
Yes.
But one more housekeeping. So just like at the end of David vs. Goliath, it is now time to reveal to you if there are any returning players
Oh
from
my
this
gosh.
season.
Oh,
Now,
there.
we actually
What?
had 20 participants on this season, 20 castaways. So just guessing numbers, how many of those 20 do you think ever came back? If any.
Like ever?
Ever.
Um,
On
I
Three?
say
US Survivor, at least.
yeah,
3?
yeah. 3 is a good one. I'll say 2. I'm gonna say 2 just to be different.
Okay. Well, you're both wrong.
Oh,
Um,
it's like 0.
I will now reveal returning at some point in the future, we will eventually see these seasons, is, perhaps no surprise, Ozzy will return.
Let's go.
Yep, that one was a given.
But there's another.
Ooh.
Parvati will
Ah, what?
return.
That one's
Really?
surprising.
The
Indeed.
spider that got no one? That's crazy.
I mean, Nate was
Okay.
webbed at some point, maybe.
Yeah, okay, fine. But okay, I don't know why, but okay. I don't know.
But there is another.
Okay.
Yule will
Yes!
return.
Oh, I love that, but I'm worried that I feel like Yule's game is done. I feel like him coming back won't do anything. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's certain people that should come back and certain people that don't. And I love Yule, but I feel like his strat is done. He won't win. He won't win again, at least. I wonder
Well,
if are there multiple people that have won multiple times? I guess there is if everybody's a returning or player, but I'm just like, how do winners keep winning if they don't refresh their strat or like they don't change it? I don't know. I'm just curious.
It's a good thought. You'll have to wait and see.
Exciting.
But there's another. The fourth returnee from this season is Candace.
What?
that one's
Candace?
less surprising than
Guerrero?
Parvati, but that one's less surprising than Parvati, but yeah, it's still kind of surprising.
I don't recall Candace doing anything besides doing the mutiny part.
What about kissing Adam?
Respectfully. Sorry, yes, and kissing Adam. All the
Showmans.
strategic plays here, yeah. Maybe that's she's trying to come back to find new love. So is Parvati trying to find more mans? I wonder if the season will be them two together still, like the returning season is them two together, and they like are this time are enemies, and they hate each other.
Certainly possible. But there's one more returnee, a fifth
One
returnee from
more.
this season.
Well, that's too much.
Indeed.
Too much.
F is like, this is effing too much.
The final
Yes.
returnee from this season is Jonathan.
Jonathan?
That one
Back
actually
again.
isn't
Who's
surprising.
Jonathan? Oh, wait, yes, I do remember. Sorry, yes.
The rat.
The rat. Yeah.
The rat.
Sorry, Jonathan.
The New Yorker.
Wow. I feel like, I think people hate him more than he should be hated. I think he's overhated. I think Candace is underhated. So I think, so I kind of feel bad for Jonathan because he's so hated. So yeah, that's where I'm going at. I think he got
Honestly-
full on hard bullied for just being a strategic
Honestly,
player.
I kind of want to see him come back just to see if he gets bullied some more.
No, Ev.
I wanna see if
How
someone
could you
else
say
calls him a rat.
that? No, I hope that's not a thing. Imagine they saw like, oh, I saw that season. They call you a rat, huh? And then that's their joke. Oh no.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Oh, that's messed up. I don't know. I hope he comes in a new leaf and maybe he's like not like how he is now, make smooth out his little rough patches and then he comes back strong. I can't believe he's back, You said you're not surprised, F. Why? You thought he was good?
He's a pretty divisive figure, and I mean, I just had like a quick run through the season, so I probably have not seen him as much as you guys. Well, I definitely have not seen him as much as you guys have. So for me, part of it is, why is he so hated? Like, I'm watching recaps and yeah, it's kind of annoying what he's doing, but like, you know, if he's able to toe the line, betray people, that's a defining um that's a defining way to play Survivor. And if he can do that well, if he can be deceptive, manipulative, if he can get people to cause drama around him, then yeah, he's a person who would make for an enjoyable watch by creating chaos around him.
What stood out to me was also his confessionals. Like, I thought he did an excellent job as a narrator,
He
even when
did, you're right.
talking about himself too. It's a good thing to have on a season.
Some
Good
kind
good
of
person to watch a
yeah.
Yankees game with.
Oh, oh, how so?
Just good commentary.
Oh, I see, I see. Well,
He
his,
actually
like
would be he'd do better as the, post-game commentary. He would be breaking or, like no, mid-game, like, if there's a rain delay, he'd be breaking down, like, everything in the first half of the game, and it's like, "Well, if they
I
do
meant
this,
like
we're
as a
screwed, and if they do
friend to go
that, we're
watch the game
screwed,"
with,
so
rather than like him actual like being a commentator for the Yankees. I just meant like watching the game with him.
I'm just picturing someone exactly like me because that is exactly what I do at the game. I commentate, so that's the person I wanna be with. Legendary moments is when like, I meet another me, which has happened one time, and then both of us together commentate a game, it's amazing.
Oh, cool. You got to introduce
at the
us. You got to
sleigh.
meet the second
Yes.
Will.
Well, he was lost somewhere in the streets of Cleveland, I don't know where he went, but that's true, he's somewhere there.
We'll have to find him. If your name is also Will that live in Cleveland, that is kinda like Will, or you're Will adjacent, please
Well,
contact us
yeah,
immediately.
I
Yeah,
was gonna
just in
say
case our
his name
co-host
is
here
not
ever gets
Will,
sick.
but
Well, yeah, I just assume his name is Will, but okay, fine. Your name is unknown, and if you kinda seem like our current host, Will, please contact at, midnightreelsproduction.com. No, I'm kidding. Yep.
um, but there we go. With that, we are at the end of another season. So we have watched 2 of the current seasons and 3 of the previous seasons. We're about to start season 49. I mean, we're moving.
Yeah, 5 seasons
Yeah.
deep. Hit a milestone.
Oh, yay. Oh my gosh, that's like should be a little you're collecting stamp for every 5 seasons, you get a little sticker on your little stamp. But you know what
Love
I
it.
kinda miss in the new season is how bright the new season is compared to the old season. Like, every time I watch new season, I feel like I'm like, "Wow, it's so bright," because, like, the camera, the
Oh,
time,
yeah.
it's like it just feels everything is so brightened, the color, the sky, everything. So,
That
I'm
is a very
excited
good
to go
observation.
back.
I don't think I've put that together, but yeah, I have noticed that now that you mentioned that.
Yeah, and I also feel like the previews are much more scarier in the old seasons. Like, we just watched one for the next season, 14, right, Will? Why did it look so
Yes.
scary? There's, like, snakes. It's like, "This island is filled with snakes and skulls and death. Island with nothing. Island with
It's like
everything. Will you make it or
it's like
die?" I'm like, "Ooh."
yeah, somebody will make a decision that will make reverberate through the whole season, and then picture of,
Yeah.
like, hammerhead
A
shark through the
shark,
woods.
yeah, I'm like, "Oh, what is happening? Are they gonna throw their tribe mates into the shark?" And then Jeff is like, "Alright, because you lost a member, no immunity, no tribal tonight," or something.
Well, I can tell you that, season 14 will not be the next season we watch, so
Oh,
but
okay.
one day, maybe one day. We'll see.
Mm. It will is this season one of your top 10 seasons, would you say?
That requires me to actually sit down and, like, throw
Okay.
everything
Mhm.
on a big list. Just,
That's fair, that's fair.
I don't think it's I don't so let's not focus on top 10, let's just say, like, seasons I get excited to talk about. The 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 top tier of seasons I get excited to talk about does not include this season.
Okay.
I think that's a better way to without having to deal with, like, actually, like, ranking all 49 now seasons. Um, but these rewatches are cool. Like, it's interesting to see which ones I get. Like this one, I definitely enjoyed watching again, and it was just fascinating all the new stuff like we talked about that appeared in this season. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
like if like 49 if 49 has as many new things as this season had in its era, I feel like it'd be hated. So I wonder if that's another reason, like the people that don't like the season, is that why they don't like it from when they watched it originally?
But
The
then you
ending
think when they
though,
come back,
like
maybe they'll like
amazing
it.
with like full
Mhm.
like the 5-4 vote I think is hype. Like I can imagine the big split of people whose favorite character was Ozzy and whose favorite character was Yule. Like that's a really cool ending.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels bad for Ozzy, feels good for Yule. You're getting this mixed feeling, you know? Both really good people and, both really deserve it, honestly, so, um, it's just awkward with Becky, you know, and I just can't get over how Jeff is like, "If this last vote is Becky, then you guys will tie. Becky, this is not for Becky. Becky, you're not even in it, so get out of here."
Yeah, that was again, that's like he has not had to deal with having a 0 vote finalist before, so that was his first attempt at how to work with I think nowadays it's just not addressed at all.
Yeah,
Um
I'm just like, "Just forget about me. If I was the 0 vote finalist, just forget about me. Don't even look at me. Don't even touch my hand. Don't even hold my hand and pretend I'm still in it. Just ignore me."
it was funny. But
Mhm.
for you guys, I will let you guys know once the new season has been selected. Uh, and yeah, it should be exciting.
Oh,
But
one more question, Will. Is there anybody from
Mhm.
this season that's in 50? Because you were talking about returning people, but are there any of those people gonna be in 50?
as a matter of fact, there is
Oh.
dun dun dun.
Oh my gosh. Can I know? Can we know? F, do you wanna know?
Uh, Depends on if Will wants to reveal it.
Oh, that's true, that's true. Is this a surprise? Because I thought we do know from,
Yeah, I
um,
forget if I told. Do you
David
remember?
versus Goliath.
Do you
Yes, you
remember
did
if
tell
I told you specifically? I
yes,
think I
you
did.
did tell me
Yes.
who it is because I think
Okay.
it was it's 2 people? Oh, yes, it was. It was our physics guy. Physics guy is coming back.
There's 3 people from David versus
Oh,
Goliath.
right. Oh, I only remember 2. Physics guy, Angelina, I don't remember the 3rd one.
Oh, physics guy, Christian?
Yes, Christian.
Yes,
50 is gonna
from
be
that
really
from David
hype
versus
with Christian.
Goliath, Christian, Angelina, and Mike White are all returning
Oh, Mike
from
White. Okay, yeah. The detective. No, not
The
detective. He's the
filmmaker.
director, the filmmaker. Yeah.
yes, from this season. I'm just doing a little double check. From this season, there is one person
Oh.
Probably
on
Ozzy.
season 50,
Yeah, I could see that as
and
Ozzy.
that one person is Ozzy.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. I can't believe he's gonna be back.
Will he
We
attempt
don't
the
realize
same
how far
strategy
it is.
like almost 20 years later?
I mean, the fact that he is back, like, he's gotta I think he's really changed, like, in terms of he's a really great Survivor player, or Jeff just wants him to win, like, hasn't won yet, and Jeff is just like, "Come on." Like, I feel like special seasons is Jeff's way of making his fantasy team and being like, "I want these people to win. One of these people gotta win. They're all my favorites, so I don't care. You guys can win." Because I feel like he felt really bad that Ozzy didn't win, you know? I think he said, like, "This is my first time feeling bad that someone didn't win." But then quickly pivot is like, "But it doesn't mean anything like that about your game, Yule. It's just, you know." So I'm just like, I
But that's
feel
where
like
we're wrong. Ozzy did win a car.
that's true. That's true, F. You're right. You're effing right. Conspiracy, he didn't, but Jeff felt bad, so he got a car. You can't prove me wrong or right.
All right, let's get out of here. Everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Island Life. Tune in next time where we're gonna be alternating season 49 and then mystery old season. Season 49, mystery old season. So we're gonna try to make that the kids going forward, as long as season 49 is airing. But until then, and until we speak again,